Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this month's chocolate tasting. We have Ethereal Chocolate. We have Michael, we have Sarah, and we have Mary here, who are all owners of this fantastic Bean Bar chocolate out of Illinois. So, welcome. Good to have you all with us again. Share with us how
Thanks.
things have been going, what's been happening, what's been cooking.
Well, we've been staying busy. We recently relaunched all of our product lineups. We've got a lot of new flavors, and we redid the packaging and the design to make it a little more fun and a little more just interesting and attractive to consumers.
Very cool. Mary, you're packaging the bars now as we speak. Show us
Yes, I am.
show us a bar
Okay,
packaging
okay.
there.
I'm actually packaging all of the bars that all of you will be tasting. So we'll be shipping those out today.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you for doing that. Beautiful packaging. So, what's been happening the last time and now? I know, a lot's been changed, tariffs. Has it impacted you all? Has COVID impacted? Like, how is everything going now? Supply chain, tell us.
COVID has certainly impacted us. I feel like we've talked about this a lot about how it seems like within the last 6 months, like it feels like now we're kind of getting more normal. But business has definitely been kind of hard since COVID. The tariffs we have yet to see. We did notice some of our packaging we do order from China, and so that cost did increase. It wasn't crazy, but we'll see. I assume it's going to be affected. We just haven't been too affected yet.
And we
So,
noticed,
stuck.
sorry,
Good.
we noticed that
Good.
people have, through COVID and maybe to beyond that, shifted from like more adventurous and more unique flavors. People were kind of retreating to things that are more comforting, more familiar. And so, although single origin bars were once core of a lot what we did, those sort of have shifted over time, and the rebranding and the kind of rethinking of our product line had a lot to do with how can we kind of connect with that? How can we re-excite ourselves about what we're producing? And so some of the bars we're doing today are made just for you, just for this tasting, because although we love them, people are looking for slightly different things now.
Yeah, and
That
we
is so interesting. Tell
yeah,
me
we
more.
even with ourselves, we were gravitating more towards comfort flavors. So our new bar lineup really focuses on those types of flavors like peanut butter, caramel, chocolate and sea salt, things like that.
Wow, that is fantastic. I mean, it's so interesting. Is it just you are experiencing that, or have you talked to other chocolate makers and they're experiencing that too, or are you seeing a trend?
I haven't talked to other chocolate makers. We've just kind of noticed like what sells for us and responded to that.
And we've had a Choco Curious line of bars for the last couple of years where we're trying new bars out every month, and we see how people respond and what they're responding to, and the things that people kind of clustered around things like that, things that they're familiar with, or like kind of spins on. I would just call them classic flavors. There's nothing that doesn't take anything away from the single origin bars. They're still fantastic, and when we made them for this and we tasted them, we're like, wow, these are really good. We should
Yeah.
produce these again.
Right.
But it's kind of a balance between what excites us and what's kind of forward looking and where we think things are going and what today are people precisely people responding to.
Wow, very interesting. Yeah, definitely keep us posted on how that's going. And thank you so much for making these wonderful special bars just for us to taste. So
Yeah.
appreciate that. So talking about that, let's kind of switch gears and go into the bars that you want us to sort of like taste in that order. And let's talk a little bit about regions and stuff. So what's the first bar?
I was going to say Michael's
Yeah.
more the expert on this. He does all of the importing and testing, so I'm going to let Michael speak.
So Puerto Rico, we actually had started getting in touch with the farms there. It's sort of a rejuvenated cocoa growing. I wouldn't say it's an industry quite yet, but it's a cocoa growing movement there, where it's people had fallen away from that. We see that a lot of regions of the world where farmers have children, and children want to go to the cities, and then they want to get educations and do other things. And so it's kind of a natural, or maybe not natural, but a kind of a movement today where people are moving away from farms and agriculture around the world. And so in Puerto Rico, there's sort of a rediscovery of this. and it required some special things, some more hurricane resistance, some more pest resistance. And so they're looking at the beans that they have there, and there are some people who don't want to lose, if not traditional, certainly family farms that have been there for a while, and people who are newly excited. So we got into food making and manufacturing of chocolate products at a time that was maybe more exciting. People are excited about getting back to doing things with their hands and kind of being reconnected with something that means something personally to them. And I think we're kind of seeing that there. Kind of before that, though, really Hawaii was the only U.S. state or province that could produce cacao. And so now Puerto Rico, even before the tariffs, even before any of that, we started working with these beans, and they're really great. They're great consistency. They're fermented really well. And for me, they have a really nice kind of a graham crackery s'more sort of component to them. So not only is it a single origin that we're doing today, but it's actually part of our blend that we're using going forward. Typically, it's been Haiti and an African, like Ghana, usually. It's one of the preferred origins we have. That's been harder to get the last 6 or 8 months. Either there's no volume or it's being 100% bought by giant manufacturers. So really, Haiti and Puerto Rico will probably be the backbone of our blend going forward. Proximity to get there, but also just from the geopolitics of the world will be, I think, pretty sustainable.
Yeah, that's really awesome to hear. For this bar, we get a lot of the berry, the blackberry, the dates, and a little bit of cinnamon flavor profile there too. I don't know if you're getting that at all.
I think it's a little bit individual. I was like,
of course,
a marshmallow kind of s'more graham cracker time. It's kind of a fudgy flavor, and then often some of those berry flavors can be kind of long notes. And I kind of associate typically like South America, Central America. Usually those berry flavors are very strong, and it's the genetic hybrids that made it to Africa that are just kind of more deep chocolate or kind of a flatter flavor profile. And so this is kind of in between the two.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, thank you for that. On to the next bar. You're talking Bolivia?
Bolivia's next.
Yes. So this is one of the origins that we've sourced specifically for the tasting here. And these are wild beans. So typically what we see in farms when we visit them is it's typically more family farms. Typically they have cocoa beans and they have peppers and they have cane, sugar, the growing, and all kinds of things. It's part of an ecosystem of things. And the bigger countries that you get to, like Ecuador, that in terms of volume, and the Dominican Republic, typically they're more plantation style, where they've planted trees specifically for that, and it kind of homogenizes the flavor profile somewhat. These are wild harvested in Bolivia, and so that kind of is just kind of all over the place genetically. There's crossbreeding between trees and all different kind of colored pods, and so this kind of is the uniqueness of that. So you're kind of getting I would say less intentional. You're getting more wild from beans from this.
Yeah. One thing to know about the Bolivia is that the beans were a lot smaller than we're used to seeing. They were more the size of a coffee bean than what a traditional cacao bean.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So is this pot smaller then?
I don't know.
The cacao pots?
That I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Just I know that the beans we got were a bit smaller.
Were smaller. Yeah. I know we got this nutty caramel cocoa fudgy flavor profile from this bar, and so we've tasted wild beans from Bolivia before, and so I think this is quite like in terms of like parallel to like the flavor profiles that we would get. Yeah. It's very cool.
Even when you see single origin, and this is something hard to convey, and hopefully we make this clear, but there's so much variation. You get 10 or 20 bags of beans from a co-op or a farm, but they may be different farmers, different parts of the country. The flavor profile really varies a lot between even what we make. There's some kind of country tendencies, but to say it's like one flavor profile all the time, it's hard to get that precise.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you for that. The next one, I think I'm gonna butcher it. Vanuatu. Vanuatu.
I've been saying Vanuatu. I don't know for sure either though.
Tell us a bit about that. Where is the region? What country?
Vanuatu is the Malakula Islands. So we've sourced beans from the Philippines. So like cocoa beans come from Brazil and South America. So all of these, most of them that leave are first sterile. And so really what you're getting is the soil and the weather is what's coming through in that. So this is a very volcanic region with very volcanic soil. So I don't know. I kind of feel that that comes through a little bit. I mean, not ashy necessarily, but kind of more of an earthy flavor. In addition to kind of the fruity hint, so you're kind of getting some of the forastero flavors, and then the depth of the soil is what's really coming through with that.
Got it. And this is did you say Philippines then?
No, this is it's from Southeast Asia, so it's from in that region near Australia, out that way.
Oh, close to like Papua New Guinea and stuff like that in that region.
And let me look at a map.
No worries. I think it's a hazelnut and creamy flavor is what we get on that one. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the last bar. Let's do Peru really quickly. Yeah. So tell us about this bar here.
We have worked with these somewhat in the past. Kind of like the Bolivia, the bean size was smaller. And so that's, there's some kind of, I guess I'll call it processing questions, like can we winnow this as effectively? Are we going to get as much husk away from the nib as we can? And surprisingly, it didn't seem to have any impact on our process. So if anything, it probably makes the roast more uniform. So as the heat's being applied and the beans are smaller, more of the heat can get uniformly to the beans versus a bigger bean where it's kind of on the outside and then maybe not as much penetrates, or it takes longer to get all the nibs up to the same temperature. So that's an interesting part of the manufacturing process. Once we have the nibs produced, I was really struck by the kind of the citrus peel, the really citrus forward elements of this bean, and then not just chocolatey, but more of I thought it kind of had a sort of a date-like finish to it. So kind of had a really strong citrus, and then sort of like I don't know what you'd call that, like not a bright fruit, but sort of like a stone fruit, or like
we get a plum or a date from this one, and a little bit of plum or date. It's a little sour, but the fruity kind of sour, which is great. Yeah, for this one. Yeah, good. Okay, well, thank you so much for tasting with us and kind of sharing this with us. Amazing work. Thank you for continuing to do what you're doing. Keep going. And then any last thoughts that you want to share before we go?
I don't have any last thoughts. Thank you for thinking of us.
And thank you everyone for and making us pushing us to do something that we haven't done in a while. We really enjoyed it, and now we're thinking of
now we're getting our gears turning again.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody who's staying tuned here. We'll see you all next month. Enjoy, everybody. Bye.
Bye.